Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so we have all the four presenters today. So Mukul, Kamran, Yasir, and Nadeep, all are
Yes, sir.
present.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Uh, so I would request from someone who has already uh,
Yes,
given the
sir.
presentation. Rishabh. Uh, Rishabh Bhardwaj. Rishabh. All right. So I would request Rishabh to make the report for today, be the reporter for today. All right. So you can note down things, no problem. And okay. So and I would request uh, Hayat Nuruzia. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you be the reporter for this week, and you can note down the proceedings for the week, and then you can submit it at the end of this.
Okay, sir.
All right. So let us start with the first presentation. Uh, over to this first team.
Yes. Good morning, all. My name is Mukul Sharma. Today, I am with my teammate Kamran Ansari. Together, we'll present before you an article. The article is about persuasion, titled as "The Necessary Art of Persuasion," written by Jay Conger. This article is a featured article of Harvard Business Review magazine, published in May-June 1998. Uh, Jay Conger has authored over 100 articles, but this article is the bestseller among all. Persuasion, an act of convincing, the power of convince, a way of believing. It is the process of convincing by which a person's attitude or behavior influenced by communication from other people. With the power of persuasion, people with the purpose of recommending something or recommending some services that would benefit the person and convincing them with the logical reasonings and the rational resources to take action. It is also used for influencing the beliefs of the persons. Persuasion in the business context. As we all know that the success of any organization depends on how well its member functions. Business leader and managers persuade their staff members to work in an alignment with the corporate values and ethics. Persuasive leaders not only communicate their visions or directives, also cooperate, also convince their employees to get on board with their plans, etc. Persuasion also help marketers to change preconceived notions. Like marketers change their consumers' opinion they formed beforehand without an adequate evidence or knowledge, and make them buy the products or services they are selling. Salespeople convince others to change their point of view, agree to the commitment, and to sell the product or service constructively. This point is more or less similar to the last one, but one can also sell their product by manipulation, but selling it by persuading something can is persuading constructively supersedes sales. How people misunderstand persuasion. Actually, people often uses manipulation in selling and deal clinching situations and named it persuasion. Here we have to know that manipulation and persuasion are two different things. Manipulation aims at control, not the cooperation. It results in a win or lose situations. It does not consider the good of the other party. Wherever persuasion is that, persuasion is just the opposite of manipulation. In contrast to the manipulator, the persuader seeks to enhance the self-esteem of the other party. The result is that people respond better because they are treated as responsible. People often compare persuasion with cajoling or begging. The difference, the big difference between persuasion and cajoling is persuasion is to successfully convince someone. They agree and they do something, usually through reasoning and verbal influences. Will casual is to persuade someone to do something which they are reluctant to do, especially by flattery or promises or by begging. Now over to my teammate Kamran.
Good morning. Um, of course, certainly persuasion is used for selling and deal clinching situations, and is misused to manipulate people. But if exercised constructively, um, we can we can use it by as a negotiating and of course a learning process through which a persuader leads his colleague to problem sharing solutions. And after all, um, persuasion is something is going people to a position where they actually currently don't hold, and it's quite opposite to deception, and it requires a proper planning, proper preparation, and and proper framing of arguments and providing support, vivid evidence, and then after also connect emotionally to them to feel free to act and feel free to interact each other. And and so this is all about negotiating and learning process, and quite opposite to quite difference from deception. Like we have an example that kid usually go with their parents to the shops, and shopkeeper also um, place their candies and toffees in front of the shops. And here there is a very thin line difference of deception and perception. Deception is something that is shopkeeper try to mm, give you know that come kids and buy this unwanted um, reliable things that I like candy, but it's is usually a result of kids just coming so far, covering a distance, and then after he got a candy, and also he come to the parents with accompanied them. And so this is um, persuasion. And we have the four steps of persuasion. The first one is credibility, and derived by expertise and relationship. Expertise is something uh, uh, happening or prior success in the proposal. They have a good sound judgment, and sound judgment and a proper knowledge of that proposal, and go through thorough knowledge of that products. And in relationships, we have a persuader must be a trustworthy, reliable, honest to their colleagues, and it must be a fair history of persuader to the audience. And we have framing common ground. It's like in usually we all have in between persuaders and audiences, there is a mutual interest may exist. So this in this type of situations where mutual interest, mutual advantage are exist, they it's easy to persuade them. But sometimes it is not easy because um, some advantages, mutual interest advantages may not exist. So in these cases, persuader must, should adjust themselves in a positions, adjust in a positions from where they attract or interact to the um, audiences, to um, just giving or uh, transfer of ideas. And we have reinforced their position using vivid language and compelling evidence, because persuaders should present a vivid support or vivid audience, sorry, evidence. So because sometimes it is um, required to make sure that it actually works. And persuader must connect emotionally to the evidence, sorry, must connect emotionally to the um, audience, because the good persuaders are very known about the primacy of emotions. And we have a force of persuasions also, because in force of persuasion is generally pull um, pull the people together and galvanizing changes, and is a kind of force to interact with the audiences, and just taking a good change in order to get shared benefits. This is all about persuasions. And we have a quote also of like we manage not by the power of our position, but by the power of our ideas and persuasion. Thank you all. Thank you for hearing us. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Mukul and Kamran. So we'll come back to the feedback in a while. So now I think let us now first hear from the other two presenters. So are you ready, both of you? Yasir
Yes,
and
sir.
Ali.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now over to you.
So is the slide visible? So is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. My name is Yasir Jamal, and today I'm going to present an article harnessing the science of persuasion with my partner Arif Sarman. The article was given by Robert Cialdini around 18 years back. The article was basically about the science of persuasion. What is persuasion? Persuasion is an act or process through which we can motivate others and alter their attitudes or behavior according to our own will. mm, persuasion can be simply as a aimed at changing others' behaviors or attitude towards our own will. Persuasion, we can say that persuasion and influencing are are two similar things, and both are considered to be as a form of arts or talent, which either we can born with it, or learn it. Persuasion not only helps us in maintaining business relationships, improving business relationships, and communicating better with our colleagues and clients, but it also helps us improve our social life. It also helps us to improve our relationships and our personality and enhance our personality and social existence. We all know that advantages of having better and strong relationships professionally and socially are endless. So, in an work mode or in a business perspective, persuasion is one of the best technique which an individual have to learn or have to acquire, because working as a leader in an organization or working as a service provider, persuasion is one of the basic quality. Because if working as a leader in an organization requires to work with the co-workers and the colleagues, to work according to me, as I am working as a leader, then I would like to I would like my co-workers to work according to me, according to my need or according to my thinking. So this is how persuasion is very important in the business perspective, or as working as a or as or as applying as a service provider. If I'm going to provide any service to some any of my client, then it also very important that how I persuade them, or how I convince them, or how I change their behavior and attitude towards me. So understand sorry, uh, to understand the science of persuasion in a very effective and scientific manner, Robert Cialdini gives 6 principles through which we can understand the science of persuasion in a scientific manner. These principles are principles of reciprocation, principles of consistency, principles of social proof, principle of liking, principle of authority, and principle of scarcity. Now coming to the principle of reciprocation. Reciprocation is the exchange of ideas or values. We can also say that mutual exchange of ideas and values, because yeah, human nature is a thing which always want the same thing with themselves as they have done the same thing to the others. Someone a favor, or someone I'm doing someone a favor, I would want the same favor for me when it comes to my turn. Example, if someone is providing me a gift on my birthday, then I'll automatically provide or give them a gift on their birthday, because it is human nature. When humans are socially obligated, they try to settle it, or in any means they don't want to owe someone or something. It works in the same way in business perspectives. Act, uh, if we done a favor or help others in their need, or appreciate them, or show a keenness towards their motivation and motivate them, then they also done with the same when we need their help, or we need someone's help. So we get the same response from their side. So the example will be the most of the charitable organization collects funds through the reciprocity, through the principle of reciprocity. Like the charitable organization used to send the proposing letters by handcrafted address, or handcraft personalized name tags, and personalized handmade gifts to impress the funders. So that is why the funders, in exchange of that, whether the whether the cost of this gift or handcrafted materials are very less, but the act considers a act of reciprocity. So this is the way most of the charitable organization collects funding. The next principle is principle of consistency. Consistency, basically, people are consistent on the basis of their commitments. People give commitments in public, in voluntary methods. They stick to their commitments and show their consistent behavior on their commitments. People should make their commitments in a very public and voluntary way, and they should be active on their commitments. Like if I say I am a healthy person, I like to go. If I am saying in publicly, I am saying that I am a healthy person. I like to go gym daily or eat healthy foods. Then I have done a commitment. Then I will work on that. That I consistently I will go to gym. I will have a healthy food. So this is the thing that people's commitments stick them make them consistent on their things. The example of consistent would be an funding organization for the handicaps in Israel just doubled their monetary collections monetary collections after 2 weeks, because 2 weeks prior they have conducted a petition signing the support for the handicapped person in their neighborhood. And then after 2 weeks, from the same neighborhood, they installed a collection funding camp, and the monetary collection was doubled. So this is the way that the people of that neighborhood, the local residents of that community, show their consistency towards their commitment, which they have signed petition to the support of handicapped. Now further, my partner Ayub Salman will explain the further principles and further topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Asir. Hello, everyone. Now let's continue the next principle, which is the principle of social proof. We can say social proof is a psychological phenomena or the proof that the people will adapt their behavior according to their what they are doing, or when we, for example, when we see a line of people standing and waiting for customers to eat at a restaurant, or we can see any celebrity drinking a certain brand of coffee. So this lends to an air of gravity and quality the product is going to sell. The best example is celebrity endorsement. Celebrity social proof typically takes a form of a celebrity. We can say using a product or promoting it on social media or in public. This will be a social proof, especially meaningful if the endorsement which a celebrity is doing is unpaid. So it's totally on the social proof that this person or this celebrity is doing it. Other people will also tend to use that particular product or use that particular service. Coming to the next example, the principle of liking. Liking, the more you like someone, the more you will be persuaded by them. It's said by Robert Cialdini. It's a best example because according to Cialdini, it affects the chances of being influenced by that individual, because liking is based on sharing something similar, or we can say more superficial interest like attractiveness. For example, we can take about the businessman Richard Branson's Virgin Group, because most he is having billions of followers and customers who use his product Virgin Mobile, and according to it, they also use his airlines known as Virgin Atlantic. Coming to the next principle of authority. We are more likely to be persuaded by someone who believes that hold more power or knowledge than we do. Best example for it is we can take the example of job titles such as doctors and some official higher ranking uniform officials like police officers, DM, because they are able to infuse other in the authority, making an average person thinks that he is senior than me or he is more knowledgeable than me. So we can use them in the commercial examples, so we have seen very places that many ad campaigns, doctors photo is used as a campaign. Coming to we can also take example in this of Robert Cialdini, because most of the people who doesn't know Robert Cialdini, they will think he is just some psychologist or somewhat. But in the end, he have a high academic knowledge and credibility in psychology. And even without knowing what he wrote, people will think that he's just a simple psychologist. Coming to the next example, which is very important, principle of scarcity. We are likelier to purchase something if it is informed that this is the last one, or it is having a special deal and is going to expire soon. In short, fear of missing it out, and that fear is very powerful motivator to encourage us to act. The best example is if we go on a travel destination and we have to book a hotel. So if we go online, we see many websites that people are that websites are using very discounts, like this discount is available for today. If you come today before 2 p.m., you will be getting this discount. Availability is very short. Or we can take example of Amazon. You go on Amazon to buy a particular product, and in the below buying option, there is written that if you buy before this particular time, it will be delivered tomorrow. You will be having this much of discount on it. Or we can, these days it's the best Amazon Prime. At if you are a Prime member, you will be given free delivery. If you're not a Prime member, you have to give some certain amount of money. So these are all the example. In the end, I would like to sum up by saying that these principles are easy for anyone to understand, because these principles does not need any formal psycho education in psychology, although the concept can be used alone. But if we use all these principles together, it will maximize the influence on the people. The importance of following ethical guidelines must be emphasized, because sometimes dishonest or high pressure methods can only work for limited time. Thank you, everyone.
Right. So thank you, both the presenters, Yasir and Nareem, for a good presentation. All right. So now let us have some quick round of feedback, and let us start with the first presenter, Mukul. So Mukul, what do you think about your own performance? You are muted, Mukul. Please unmute yourself.
Sorry. Actually, in between the presentation, two times I have to switch to my presentation transcript to see what point I have to make next. So from the next time, I will ensure that it will not happen. I've practiced so many times, but still I have to look into the transcript.
So any other issue? Any other thing which you think that what are the things where you can improve? Or
Sometimes I have difficulty in pronouncing the difficult word in between the text, or in between I'm speaking. Like there is a word in the presentation, preconceived notions. So sometimes I have pronounced it whenever I'm trying to speak in fluency. I pronounce it preconceived notions or preconceived nations sometimes. So it will be a problem.
all right. So the presenters, can anyone give some feedback to Mukul also? Some reflect on what went well and where there are things which Mukul can take note of.
Sir, I think the enthusiasm level was also somewhat low, like while delivering the presentation.
Okay. Yes. Very good point. Enthusiasm is very important. Anyone else?
Sir, their slides was perfect, not so heavy, and sir, but I think the practiced of their combination is bit lesser.
Hmm?
Sir, at the time of speaking, so they practiced a bit lesser. I think
Okay.
they practice individually. I think the combination of them are a bit lesser practice, and sir,
Feel that.
they are well time maintained. So they completed in between 15 minutes. It's the good reason. That's it.
So what we just suggested that you practice alone actually. So if you would have practiced together, the impact would have been much more. Very good point. So what about the other presenter, Kamran?
Yes, sir. Same issue, sir. Sometimes it's very difficult to pronounce words in between. Like our, I want to say audience, but it is made advantage and audible, sometime audience, and this is. And I know all things. All things. I read. I go through the PDF and have YouTube also and some Google search. But all the things in my mind, but I want to speak, I want to deliver this, but I'm unable to just deliver this. So this happens, and framing of sentences is very, there is a point that I felt that I'm unable to do. And so, okay, everything is fine. It's just my first or second times. Maybe in future, yeah, sure, I'm very sure that I will present better.
Okay, so any suggestions for Kamran? Where he can improve?
I think he just.
Yes. Go ahead, Umar.
Please go ahead.
Oh, Mama, can you please tell site at Google?
Google Translate.
Just
You can search Google
I want
Translate.
to try Google Translate. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Very, very important. And we have tools today which can help us with very specific things. And earlier, these were things which were not available. But today, if you are really interested and to improve, there are a lot of things which can help you. So, very nice point. Very nice suggestion. Now, there is a comment on chat also. So, the issue with the remembering of the script that we were trying to basically look at the roof all time and trying to so internalizing and practicing a bit more. Yes, obviously, very nice suggestion on that account. Oh, so overall, I find the presentations they were somehow they lacked enthusiasm. I think that's the point which was raised by others also. However, I really liked one thing about Mukul that when I saw the participants list, he had entered through multiple devices, and that's what's preparation is when you are uh, using a technology like this, where you know that there can be things which can go wrong, and so he had joined from multiple devices to make sure that the connection and everything that is in place. So I really like this idea, and others can also try. Okay. Uh, so overall, the presentations were fine, but yes, there are a lot of areas in which we can improve. The first is obviously the start of the presentation, the beginning. So when you begin a presentation, so if you can be a bit more enthusiastic about the topic, so it transfers your enthusiasm to the audience. So if you start in a very casual, in a very dull manner, now that basically conveys that okay, this is another job which has been pushed on you. Now you have to just complete this job anyhow. So if this is the impression the audience are getting, so that's not a good thing. And secondly, once you don't show enthusiasm, the audience will feel. Now these are your classmates here. Some of you might be like they are giving you feedback on a very um basic level, and then they are not evaluating you in on that aspect. However, the moment say you for any presentation, if you that's what we call that giving respect to the audience, to their time. So they are there to listen to you, and if you don't give them respect, if you don't prepare well, that is a very bad sign actually for the it's a signal which goes to the audience. So from that perspective, I felt that you can improve on that account, where you can be a little bit more enthusiastic about the topic. If you say you have read the topic a couple of times. Now, for both of you, if you are finding it difficult in pronunciation, what suggestions Umama has given very well, you can note down those suggestions. However, I would suggest that you start reading. What I feel that the reading habits have gone down uh, a lot, and if even if you are just reading a good English newspaper daily, even if you are reading, say, just 2 3 articles from that newspaper aloud, read aloud in your room, maybe in front of in front of mirror, read aloud. Okay, whether you are understanding it or not understanding it, the moment say you keep on practicing this, your comprehension will improve. Okay, the sentence which you are finding it difficult to make, the forming of sentences while conversing. So these things will improve a lot once you start reading. So reading is a very important activity, and there's no right time where you can develop this habit. So I would suggest both of you, Mukul and Kamran, that please read a lot, and there will what will happen. Your pronunciation also will you will also understand the pronunciation of certain words which you think that you are not able to pronounce properly and all. So and one thing is that when you are preparing to present and then you are practicing it, but one and the other thing is that you are on a daily basis you are doing a activity or making it a habit of reading the newspaper. It's a very good habit, and uh, once you are doing it, it will naturally improve your lot of other parts of communication. It will naturally help you a lot. It will improve your knowledge. Maybe you can use a business newspaper like Business Standard or Economic Times. That can also be a good strategy. So it will also improve your knowledge of business environment, and also help you in developing that flair for language and good communication skills. So please take note of that. That's a good strategy which you can. Now coming to the next two presenters, what about Yasir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, about Yasir. What about your performance? How would you?
Sir, I think overall it is an average performance, and as someone has mentioned that a bit of lack of enthusiasm, and I agree to that. Especially sometimes I wobble throughout my words because sometimes there are words in my mind, but I can't speak them or able to speak them. So I wobble throughout my words. So I think this is the issue which shows lack of enthusiasm in my presentation. I think. So that's my opinion. That's where I liked. I
So
think.
what are you doing about it?
So I'm working on it. I'm basically trying to. I read various novels or articles, not especially a particular storybooks or anything articles which I found internet, and I try to speak and I try to speak in and I try to have conversation in English as much as I can with anyone else, with my friends or within the family, which I can.
Okay. All right. So any suggestions for Yasir?
Sir, on the plus side, the slides are very good, brief content, crispy. And the good one thing I liked was the transition between the slides were smooth, and the command on language is also good. But like he said, he should. I think he should try to connect to the audience with his body language too, and I like eye contact. He was engaging in, then zooming out like that.
Very, very nice suggestions. In fact, you should take note of it. See, body language, about
Sure.
60% of our communication is through body language. So, say for example, the way you are looking upward and you are trying to remember. So, it gives a kind of an impression. So,
Yes.
so that maybe you are not that enthusiastic but it may not be so. What I
Yes.
feel by interacting with you, what I feel that it is your natural style basically you have developed over the years that you are like so
Yes. Yes, sir.
it's naturally happening to you. So if you are made conscious of that, like what Nidal has just now explained to you, or some others, the comments which people have given, feedback which they have given, so take note
Yes.
of it. Maybe
Yes, sure. I will
you can
definitely work on
consciously
it.
control these things. Sometimes there are habit disorders which we develop, and we don't know that. Uh, in natural conversation, when you are conversing with your friends or your colleagues, that may not
Yes, sir.
matter, and they may get used to your this style of conversation.
Yes, sir.
But if you
Sometimes
are
it
in a formal
happens in
presentation,
a formal setting.
yes, formal setting, it may sound it may look a bit awkward, so that you
Yes,
can
sir.
control maybe, and that is what.
Sure, sir.
Um your camera was also not stable. What I found that either you are holding it or you don't
Yes,
have
sir.
a.
I'm holding my phone in my hand.
You could see. This is a very simple thing which you can do. Like you must have books or something in your house. Okay, so you
Yes, sir.
make a platform. It doesn't matter that whether, but it just has to be stable. So if you
Okay.
can practice it a bit before the class and when you are practicing, and I think that can be sorted out. So these are things which are hygiene issues. I call it hygiene issues. Okay, with
Okay.
technology, stable camera, headshot, proper headshot, and all these things. So this is hygiene issues. Take care of these things when you are doing it online.
Sure, sir. I will do that.
Okay, coming to Ari.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
yes, what about your performance, Ari?
Sir, I think it was average, and I think I was a bit fast. Yes.
Okay, so what others have to say? Any feedback for Ari?
Sir, I think they understood the article and the central idea very well. All of the points were connected to the central idea, like principle of liking, authority, scarcity, consistency.
Thank you.
But one thing I noticed about Arib was that he does not take appropriate pauses. Like before even summing up, he was like continuously from the last slide and immediately switched to summing up and without taking like a pause or something. So you should take appropriate pauses between the slides, I believe.
Okay, bye. Thank you very much.
It's very nice point. In fact, this point I have also noted. We call it the strategic pauses. Once you
Yeah.
have say discussed an idea, you have conveyed an idea, and then you give a pause and let the audience reflect, maybe, and you also reflect, and maybe uh, just give a chance, a breather for them, so that when they internalize the idea, like you have done it, and then we move on to the next idea. So that's and all these articles. So these are very powerful articles. In fact, Robert Cialdini is a very very famous author. In fact,
Yes,
he
sir.
has written a book called Persuasion way back, and it is one of the best sellers in behavioral economics. Uh, there is it's said that all of us must read if you are into behavioral economics. Persuasion is a must-read book, and in fact, if you are in business, I think Persuasion is a must-read book. Recently, he has come up with a new book, Persuasion. Persuasion. As Kamran has mentioned, the book Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion. So these are very famous books by Robert Cialdini, and in fact, he's a professor also. He's a researcher and a very good speaker. He has spoken on a very. They do a lot of experiments on these tactics. So we'll come to the content all on that account. So I'll talk. I was just talking about the power of these ideas. So let sink in. So any suggestion for Ari? Any other suggestion? So overall, I find that the presentations were okay. There were good presentations. in terms of slides, which I find that okay, the text is less. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that you are using less text. But I would
Thank you, sir.
again advise you to use more visuals. Now there is a difference between graphics and visuals. In the first presentation, we can find graphics. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and these graphics were mostly slide designs which were there. However, I would advise you to use more of visuals. Now, say for example, if Arif, when you are talking about scarcity, you're talking about scarcity. Okay, so maybe you can just show a picture or a screenshot of any website or any. Today, you are giving a lot of examples. Just a
Yes, sir.
picture of that example can make a lot of difference. Can like get into the head of the, or say for example, when you're talking about say social proof. Okay, social proof when you're talking about celebrity endorsements. So
Yes, sir.
just maybe Amitabh Bachchan in a like some ad or that the visual of that screenshot of that maybe like it can convey your idea much more uh, concretely, I would say.
Okay, sir.
So it will give a vivid vividness. It will add vividness to your what you are trying to convey. Now, you remember the example of Steve Jobs when he was trying to introduce iPod. So what is iPod and all these things? So he said one iPod is equal to 1,000 songs in your pocket. Okay, so that is basically using vivid language, a language which everyone can relate to or everyone can grasp. Okay, imagining how a non-technical person can view your things, or a person who is not from that area, from that field, thinking about that. So that's again the act of going a step ahead and walking in the shoes of your audience for a while. So, so because everyone is in here with a question which is what's in it for me. So everyone tries to basically look for this. What's in it for me? मेरे लिए क्या है? Now this two, coming to the content of this uh, this these two articles. These are very powerful articles. In fact, the art of persuasion as well as the science harnessing the science of persuasion. Both these articles talk about persuasion as such. Now, persuasion is so important in our life. We say that if you develop this, you can be really effective in whatever you do. If you can persuade others to your way of thinking. Now, just imagine this power. Just imagine this power of like you basically not manipulating, but you are persuading other people to your way of thinking that how you want them to behave. So that's an amazing part. And every marketer, every business person, every entrepreneur, everyone wants that power. Okay. Even we are trying to persuade our parents for something or the other. We are trying to persuade our friends. Say, for example, let's go for go for some outing or whatever. We are all, in life. We are always trying to persuade others to our way of thinking. That's what we are doing. So we are all in the business of persuasion. So we cannot ignore this. Now, whether it is a science, whether it is an art, I would say again, say it is a craft. So one develops it. Once you start practicing it, you may know the science. You may know that okay, authority or credibility adds. You can use it to good effect. You can, but can you use it? Say for example, can you borrow authority? Right now, you don't have any authority. So you must have seen there are a lot of ways in which companies try to do this. You have seen toothpaste ads. So Colgate does not have authority over dental hygiene, but a doctor in a white coat explaining about dental hygiene is authoritative. So they borrow authority. So similarly, once say you are giving a presentation, you are trying to convince about certain things. So you may not be an expert in that, but you can quote an expert. That's borrowing authority, and many people do it. It sounds very simple. We all can do it, but do we really do it? The problem is that we don't remember doing all of these things. So that's why I say that it is more of a craft. that you use these things again in your life. So that's really helpful. Social proof, uh, using peer pressure to basically to comply with the social norms. It's again a very, very interesting thing. Someone like Kamran has mentioned, Amir Khan doing movie once in 3 years. It's also a scarcity principle. Yeah, true. Exclusive stuff, exclusivity. So we like more. We are all we like things which are exclusive, which are not readily available. So, as far as this context of this both these articles is concerned, the ideas presented in both these articles are very powerful. Okay, so I would request all of you, because in life you will always remember, you will always try to basically persuade others, one in one situation or the other, and similarly, opposite things will also happen. Others will also try to persuade you to their way of thinking. Marketers will do it, advertisers will do it, your parents will do it, your bosses will do it, your subordinates will do it. Everywhere, your wife will do it, your children will do it. Okay, everyone will do it. They will try to persuade you to do things. So knowing these principles and practicing these principles really help. So they say, uh, if you work hard on yourself, if you work hard on your job, you will make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you will make a fortune. So this is about working hard on yourself. Uh, like developing the presentation skills, I would advise all of you to try to develop persuasion skills. And these are very important skills which can really help you in negotiations and whatever you do in your life, even in your presentations. Okay, if you are using persuasion, the power of persuasion, and then things will be very different the way it will turn out. Okay, just try these principles and you will see the impact. Okay, you don't need a large study to look to measure the impact of these things. Even if you start practicing in your daily life, you will see the impact. Okay, these are very powerful articles. I will advise everyone to go and read these articles, and at least go and watch some of the videos of Robert Cialdini and on persuasion. And in fact, I would advise, if some of you are interested in more in this, go and watch some videos of Dan Ariely about how people make decisions and how people sometimes make irrational decisions, and how persuaders persuade you to their way of thinking. It's a very interesting area to study. So overall, I find that today's class was quite interesting in terms of the presentations and the content. So thank you very much. And I hope that you people have taken note of what we have covered so far. And we will have the report hopefully soon. And so let's connect tomorrow